Hi there, welcome back. You're bleeding power every single day and you don't even see it. Right now, while you're watching this, there are habits running in the background, quiet, normal, invisible, that are draining your inner strength, your clarity, your ability to stand firm when life pushes back. And here's what makes it dangerous. These habits don't announce themselves. They don't feel dramatic. They feel like Tuesday. Until one day you wake up and realize you've become someone who just reacts. Someone who's always tired. Someone who knows what they should do but never does it. Someone who's lost their edge. Most people blame circumstances. They blame other people. They blame the world. But the Stoics knew better. And the truth is both harsher and more empowering. You're doing this to yourself. Marcus Aurelius commanded an empire, yet he wrote in his journal every night about one battle, the battle for self-command. At the end of this video, I'll show you 7 silent habits that destroy your inner power before you even notice. And for each one, you'll get the Stoic fix: simple, brutal, effective. But here's the condition. You have to be willing to look at yourself without excuses. No, that's just how I am. No, I'm too busy. Because what I'm about to show you will feel personal. And that's exactly why it works. So let's get started. Habit 1. You seek validation from people who don't live your life. Right now, check yourself. How many decisions did you make this week because you were worried about what someone would think? How many times did you hold back because you imagined judgment? How many choices were shaped not by your values, but by your fear of disapproval? Here's the brutal part. You're giving your power to people who aren't even paying attention. While you're worried about their opinion, they're worried about their own problems. You're building your life around ghosts. When you seek external validation, you hand over your remote control. Someone else decides if you feel good today. Someone else determines if you're enough. You wake up every morning, and the first thing you do is check. Did they like it? Did they approve? Did they notice? That's not strength. That's slavery. Epictetus was born a slave, but he became one of the most influential philosophers of his generation because he understood one truth. The only opinion that matters is the one you have of yourself when no one's watching. The Stoics called this prohairesis, your internal capacity to choose. You don't control what people think. You don't control what they say. But you control whether their judgment has power over you. Here's your fix. The 24-hour validation fast. For one full day, make decisions based only on what you know is right, not on what looks good. Don't check for likes. Don't fish for approval. Don't explain yourself when you don't owe an explanation. And here's the challenge. Notice how uncomfortable that feels. That discomfort is where your power's been hiding. Comment day 1 when you start. Habit 2. You react instead of respond. Someone cuts you off in traffic. You explode. A text goes unanswered. You spiral. A comment criticizes you. You defend, justify, attack. You're not choosing your response. You're just a reflex machine. Here's what's happening. You've trained yourself to be a slave to stimulus. Something happens. You react. No pause. No thought. No choice. You're giving the external world complete control over your internal state. To give just one small example, Viktor Frankl survived Auschwitz and discovered something the Nazis couldn't take from him. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is your power to choose. But you can't access that space if you're reacting on autopilot. When you react, you're a puppet. When you respond, you're a person. The Stoics practiced what Marcus Aurelius called the discipline of assent, the ability to pause before accepting an impression as true. Someone insults you. That's the stimulus. But the meaning, the emotion, the response, that's yours to choose. Here's your fix, the 3-breath rule. The next time something triggers you, anger, fear, frustration, stop. Don't speak. Don't move. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. Feel your feet on the ground. Then choose your response. Do this for 7 days. Not sometimes, every time. And watch what happens. You stop being controlled by your emotions and start directing them. Habit 3. You live in constant mental noise. Be honest. When was the last time you sat in complete silence for 10 minutes? No phone, no music, no distraction, just you and your thoughts. Most people can't do it, and that's the problem. You fill every gap with noise. Podcasts, videos, music, scrolling. You wake up and immediately reach for your phone. You drive with the radio on. You eat with a screen in front of you. You're never truly alone with yourself. And here's why that destroys your power. You can't hear your own mind. You don't know what you actually think because you never create space to think it. You're running on autopilot, reacting to the world's inputs instead of generating your own clarity. The Stoics understood that stillness isn't weakness. It's the foundation of strength. Seneca wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality, but you can't even identify what you're imagining if you never stop to listen. Mental noise keeps you scattered. Stillness gives you focus. Noise makes you reactive. Stillness makes you intentional. Here's your fix. 10 minutes of silence every morning. No exceptions. Sit somewhere quiet. No phone. No distractions. Just breathe and let your mind settle. Thoughts will come. Don't fight them. Don't follow them. Just observe. For the first 3 days, it'll feel impossible. By day 7, you'll start noticing something. Clarity. Real, cutting clarity about what matters and what doesn't. Habit 4. You avoid discomfort at all costs. You know the conversation you need to have but keep putting off. The workout you skip because it's cold outside. The difficult project you delay because it feels overwhelming. That's not laziness. That's comfort addiction. And comfort addiction destroys power because power is built in discomfort. Every time you choose ease over growth, you're training yourself to be weak. You're telling yourself, I can't handle hard things. The Stoics practiced voluntary hardship, not because they were masochists, but because they understood that strength is a muscle. Seneca would sleep on a hard floor, eat simple food, wear rough clothes, not to suffer, but to prove to himself that suffering wouldn't break him. When you avoid discomfort, you shrink your capacity. When you embrace it, you expand. Here's your fix. 1 voluntary discomfort every day. Take a cold shower. Have the hard conversation. Do the task you've been avoiding. Sit with boredom instead of reaching for your phone. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be uncomfortable. And here's the magic. Every time you do it, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than you thought. That proof becomes power. Habit 5. You complain about things you can't control. Traffic, weather, politics, other people's behavior, the economy, the past. You spend hours, maybe days, complaining about things that are completely outside your control. And every minute you spend there is a minute you're not spending on what you can actually change. Complaining is a drug. It feels like you're doing something, but you're not. You're just broadcasting helplessness. And the more you do it, the more helpless you become. Epictetus taught the dichotomy of control. Some things are up to you and some things are not. Your opinions, your choices, your effort, your character, those are yours. Everything else, not yours. When you complain about what's not yours, you waste your power. When you focus on what is yours, you reclaim it. Here's your fix, the control audit. Every time you catch yourself complaining, stop and ask, is this within my control? If it's not, acceptance. Not weakness. Acceptance is power. Let it go. If it is, action. Not words, action. Do this for 2 weeks and you'll notice something shocking. You have way more energy because you're no longer bleeding it into things that don't matter. And if this is hitting you, do one thing right now. Hit the like button. It's 1 click and it tells the algorithm to push this to people who need to reclaim their power. And if you want practical Stoic wisdom that builds real inner strength, subscribe to Stoic Horology. Because we're not just talking philosophy, we're living it. Habit 6. You consume without creating. How many hours did you spend this week consuming content? Videos, articles, podcasts, social media. Now ask, how many hours did you spend creating something? Writing, building, training, making, solving a real problem. Most people spend 90% of their time consuming and 10% creating, and that ratio destroys power because consumption is passive. Creation is active. When you only consume, you train yourself to be an audience member in your own life. The Stoics believed in purposeful action, not busyness, not distraction, but deliberate contribution. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet he wrote every night. Seneca ran a state, yet he wrote letters. Epictetus taught students. They created, even when they were exhausted. When you consume, you borrow other people's thoughts. When you create, you generate your own. Here's your fix: the creation ratio. For every 2 hours you consume, spend 1 hour creating. Write a page, solve a problem, build something, train your body, teach someone. Anything that moves you from passive to active. Start today. Set a timer. Create for 30 minutes. No perfection, just action. And watch what happens. You start feeling like someone who does things, not someone who just watches. Habit 7. You never reflect on your day. You wake up, you react to the day, you go to sleep, repeat. You never stop to ask, what went well, what didn't? Where did I lose control? Where was I strong? What would I do differently? Without reflection, you repeat the same mistakes forever. You don't learn, you don't grow, you just react over and over in the same patterns. Seneca practiced evening review, not to beat himself up, but to observe himself clearly. What did I do well today? Where did I fail? How can I improve tomorrow? Not judgment, awareness. Reflection turns experience into wisdom. Without it, you're just accumulating years, not growth. Here's your fix: 5-minute evening journal. Every night before bed, answer 3 questions. What did I do well today? Where did I lose control? What will I do differently tomorrow? That's it. 5 minutes. But do it every night for 30 days and you'll become someone different. Not because you changed everything, because you became aware. Personal story. Now, I'm not talking from theory. There was a time when I felt powerless, not dramatically, just stuck. I'd make decisions and second-guess them. I'd start things and quit when they got uncomfortable. I knew what I should do, but I'd watch myself not do it. Then someone asked me a question that landed hard. Do you even believe you can change? I didn't have an answer, and that silence forced honesty. I found Stoicism, not as philosophy but as practice. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus. I started with one habit, just one. The validation fast, then the 3-breath rule. The first week felt exposed, like I couldn't hide behind excuses anymore. But then something shifted. I started recognizing myself again. Not because I became perfect, because I became intentional. And that's what you can do. Not tomorrow, now. One habit, one choice. Reclaim what's yours. 30-day system. Here's your 30-day system to reclaim your inner power. Week 1. Awareness. Practice the 24-hour validation fast. Use the 3-breath rule every time you're triggered. Sit in 10 minutes of silence every morning. Journal every evening. Week 2. Replacement. Add 1 voluntary discomfort daily. Do the control audit every time you complain. Implement the creation ratio. 1 hour creating for every 2 hours consuming. Week 3. Integration. Keep everything from weeks 1 and 2. Now layer them. They're not separate practices. They're one system. Validation fast while you create. 3-breath rule when discomfort triggers you. Silence before you reflect. Week 4. Mastery. Stop thinking of these as habits. Think of them as identity. You're not someone trying to get better. You're someone who has power and uses it intentionally. And here's what I want from you. Comment day 1 when you start. Then come back every 7 days and comment week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Track your progress publicly. If enough people do this, I'll create a results video analyzing what changed and why. Not motivation, evidence. Final. Let's recap the 7 silent habits destroying your inner power. 1. Seeking external validation. 2. reacting instead of responding. 3. Living in constant mental noise. 4. Avoiding discomfort. 5. Complaining about the uncontrollable. 6. Consuming without creating. 7. Never reflecting. But this isn't really about habits. It's about self-respect. The Stoics taught that every day you choose consciousness or autopilot. Control what you can or waste your life on what you can't. Become sharper or become softer. Marcus Aurelius wrote that you have power over your mind, not external events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You don't control the algorithm. You don't control other people. You don't control the past. But you control these 7 habits, and it won't be easy. You'll forget. You'll slip. You'll want to quit. That's where the difference is made, between the person who changes and the person who just consumes videos. So here's what you do now. Step 1. Like this video. Make it real. Step 2. Comment. Day 1. That's your public commitment. Step 3. Choose one habit to start today, the one that hit you hardest. Step 4. Set a phone reminder right now to practice it. And if this gave you something real, subscribe to Stoic Horology and turn notifications on. Because next week, I'm breaking down the Stoic framework Marcus Aurelius used to stay unshakable in the chaos of Rome. The one practice that builds emotional control no matter what life throws at you. Remember, Stoicism isn't perfection. It's progress. Start now. Comment. Day 1. See you in the next one.